Civilization 7 has just released, and there's quite a bit under the hood that is still left to be explored. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 tips for Civilization 7 that other people will not tell you. In Civ 7, when a world wonder is completed, you'll receive a notification on the right-hand side of your screen. The problem is that there's nowhere to track this, so unless you've been writing them down, it's going to be difficult to remember throughout the course of a game which world wonders have been built and which ones haven't. Here's our first tip. If you open up the city screen, hit View Hidden, and scroll all the way down to where the wonders are, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of wonders that are available to build. Every single one of these wonders is available to build right now in this city with these specific tiles. We could fit Monk's Mound, we could fit Oracle somewhere in this city. And the interesting thing about this tab is it only shows you what you can build right now. All of these technologies, even though we don't have them, we would still be able to fit these somewhere in this city. I'll show you an example. We don't see the pyramids in here right now. Between Pyramid of the Sun and Sanchi Stupa, there is nothing. However, when we acquire the tile that we need for the pyramids, which is this one here, a desert tile adjacent to a navigable river, you'll take a look inside the wonder listing, and all the way at the bottom, the pyramids is now available. So not only does this show which world wonders are available to build, but whether or not you've got somewhere to place them. In Civ 7, there is no reroll button. That means that when you spawn in as Isabella and there's no natural wonder, you got to do it the hard way. You have to go back to the main menu, you have to quit, and you have to put all of those details back in that you started the game with. However, here's a little tip for you. Let's just do this once. We'll grab our mementos, we'll grab all the things that we like, we'll pick our antiquity age, we'll pick our civilization, our difficulty, our speed, our map size, and then what we're going to do is hit the save config button. Now what this is going to do is save this configuration so that even if I was to come back in and not even pick a leader, just leave this as a random leader, as long as I load that configuration, it's always going to bring me back in as Isabella with those mementos and give me the exact same thing that I've saved. Now there's one problem with this, and that problem is that it will always give you the same map. So here's a little way around it. Now it's a different map this time because we saved the map seed from the previous one and we've got a beautiful world one or natural wonder right here. But let me just show you the way that you get around it. So the problem is when you load a configuration, it's going to load the map seed. So you can see this is our new map seed right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this map seed. I'm going to load the configuration. I'm going to hit that button. It's reverted back to our previous map seed. And then I'm just going to drop the map seed in right there. And now we'll have Isabella with all of our mementos with the new map, and we've got, it's essentially a reroll function with a couple of extra clicks. I've seen a couple of high-profile reviews of Civ 7 that have said that there's no next action button. That's a button that you can just simply press to go to your next action, whether that be perhaps opening up your technology, or opening your next production, or perhaps even going to your next unit. But the truth is there is actually this button. They've just mislabeled it. It's not actually listed as a next action button. So if you go into the options, come to keyboard and mouse, go to configure, and the next turn button. What I've got it sitting on at the moment is mouse 6, the same button that I use to go back and forward on web pages, and I'd recommend you do the same. That way you can put your feet up and just slowly go to your next action, wherever it may be, all with one hand. The next tip is about influence and not spending it. I know it seems counterintuitive because you've got these research collaborations or cultural agreements that you want to get out there and you want to start bringing in those resources, but influence is a much more important resource because you use it to nurture relationships. And if you don't have it when somebody offers you something, there is a risk that things can get bad. One of the key components to any agreement is going to be supporting it. And when you do that, there's going to be a more powerful bond that's built between you and the other leader. It means that your relationship will grow more quickly than if you were to simply accept their agreement rather than support it. By doing this, by supporting the agreement, your relationship improves faster and it reduces the risk that they go to war with you. If you want to go to war, that's absolutely fine. But ideally, I'd like to be the one calling the shots. So it doesn't mean not spending your influence at all. It just means holding off on spending that influence very early, waiting until you've met all of the leaders, introduced yourself to them kindly, and at that point you can start to send out your agreements. You're not actually limited by how many agreements you can accept from the other leaders, but you are limited with how many you can send out So the suggestion that I put forward is that you avoid sending out your own agreements until you're confident you've got enough influence in the bank so that if you're offered anything, you're going to be able to support it. A huge component of Civ 7 is being able to unlock the unique mementos and upgrades that are available to each leader. And one of the best ways that you can level your leader is by completing legacy paths. So the faster you can complete legacy paths and the more often you can complete all of them, then the sooner you'll be able to level up your leader. In this game, we're at turn 75 with 100% legacy completion or age progress. We've done every single legacy path, all 4 of them, and we finished the game at turn 75. We've done this because the speed is listed as online. Now, in the games that you play, it doesn't really matter what speed you play on. The main thing that you need to change is in the settings. There is a very specific setting that changes the length of the age. Every time you progress towards a legacy path, it is going to push that percentage up. And by putting long rather than standard, it's going to mean that as you get closer to that legacy path being completed, that the percentage won't be kicked over as high each time you get closer. This allows you to more frequently pick up these unlocks. So if we take here a look at, we'll have a look at a leader, we'll go Harriet Tubman. You can see that she's got a whole bunch of challenges that need to be completed. And if you can complete these all at the same time, it's going to save you time, and at the same time, it's going to be very efficient for you gaining experience towards her unlocks. Just to take a look at some of them, if we go have a look at Harriet, you can see that she's got a guiding light at level 2, or at level 5, she's got satchel, or at level 9, she's got sidearm. This is an incredibly powerful memento, and the sooner that you can unlock it, the sooner you can take it into battle. Of course, this applies to absolutely any leader, and it's exactly how I've got Isabella to level 5. We still need to get her to level 9, though, because there is something very, very special we want to get. With this tip, we'll be looking to maximize the efficiency that we can get out of a specialized town. When you specialize a town, there's a number of different bonuses that you can choose from. And making sure you've got as many citizens that are doing the relevant job can give you a much larger bonus than if you've got citizens that aren't doing a job that is conducive to that bonus. So we'll use migrants to simulate the growth of a town that you would experience. Normally, you wouldn't have these migrants to help your town grow, but we're very fortunate in that we're playing the Khmer, and they like to grow very big. So we've grown from to the kaolin, and then out to the cotton, and I think we might grow down towards these pearls as well, because they give a nice little happiness bonus, and we might take the dyes as well. So if we were to do some maths right here, we can take a look at the 2 options that we've got, farming town and mining town, camps, woodcutters, clay pits, mines, and quarries, versus farms, pastures, plantations, and fishing boats. And we'll see that there's 1, 2, 3 that we've currently got for the food bonus, and 1, 2, 3 for the production bonus. So what we can do is utilize the buildings available inside the town itself and push these citizens out of tiles that we had to work previously to get access to the resources. So we wouldn't have been able to get this cotton without this connector tile, but what we can now do is we can kick that that citizen out. So we're going to just go drop down a brickworks right here. Now keep in mind we are playing as the Khmer. They get bonuses to the river, so you'll see some crazy good yields in here that we're not going to take, and that's very specific. So look, don't worry about that. That's just purely because of the civilization that we're playing here. The point is specifically about kicking the citizen out. That citizen now has to relocate, and because of that, that's 1 less citizen that is being wasted on this tile, and 1 more citizen that could be working a farm, like this farm that we've just got right now. But on top of that, we've also got another citizen that's working this woodcutter. We're not going to get this one out of the quarry because it's a resource, and you're never going to be able to kick them out there. You can't settle on it, you can't kick them out. But what you can do is then grow a couple more buildings down to here, and as long as they're connected like this, that will then kick this citizen out, and then you can go grab another resource. And with that, you'll be able to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 citizens compared to the 3 that you had before, and that's going to give you a bonus of 5 food compared to the 3 food that you would have had before. So the next tip is to be building more settlements. Always be building more settlements. Every time you add a settlement, it's going to be increasing everything that you're doing in the game. It is only a net positive, as long as there's a couple of things you got to watch out for. Number 1, you don't go above the settlement limit within reason. Now, you can go above it as long as it's for a short time, or as long as you've got a happiness base enough to support it. The other thing to note is that it might anger some people. So you can see he's already settled a little bit too close to somebody. But when we put this down, that's just going to make that even worse. It's now up to 40. And then with each subsequent settle, that is going to make that even worse. So do keep that in mind when you're forward settling, but just remember that each one of these settles is going to be contributing resources to our kitty. There's genuinely no downside to having these from a resource perspective. Look, just it goes up by 3. Each one of these has got a citizen inside. We can get that citizen to go to work. So we might take this tile right here, and that's given us 2 gold. We can take this tile right here, which is going to give us another 3 gold. And we can take this tile right here, which will give us another 1 gold. We've gotten a huge amount of gold income. Each one of these cities is going to continue to grow. In addition to that, they're also going to be eventually supporting our connected cities with additional food. There is no downside to this whatsoever. Now, there's a couple of techs that you'll need to look out for in the early game that are going to be instrumental to how many settlements that you can have. You start off with 3. That goes up to 4 after you've got irrigation. Once you've got the irrigation technology, though, you'll need to look towards the civic tree, because the civic tree's actually got 2. It's got 1 in entertainment. It's also got 1 in organized military. In addition to that, that'll take you up to 6, a settlement limit of 6. But in addition to that, there is also sometimes in the civ-specific civics, so that is for us, we're playing as the Mayans here. We've got one down here, +1 settlement limit, so that will take us up to 7. Now, there are other ways that you can increase the settlement limit. I think there might even be more increases to the settlement limit further on here, like quite down in advance in these tech trees, but those are the primary ways that you're going to be looking to lift it, and that's early on in the game. You can have up to 7 settlements, and you want to make sure that at every single opportunity that you are building those, one of the things I like to do is I like to buffer them, so that if I've got irrigation tech that's about to complete, I make sure I've got that 4th settler that is about to come out, ready to go. That way, the moment I hit that 4th settlement limit, I'm able to get that 4th settlement down. Our final tip is with regard to movement. When you move on to specific terrain or goodie huts, your turn will end. That means it doesn't matter if you've got 1 point of movement or 2 points of movement, your turn will end. Now, this can work in circumstances like this, where we are going to hit this goodie hut with our last point of movement, and that's absolutely fine. Or over here, as an example, we'll be moving out over towards this goodie hut, and you can see that it'll be 1 point of movement in, and then a second one through the water, and then onto this goodie hut. However, in this turn right here with this scout, we're going to be at a bit of an odd point, because we'll have our movement in onto this tile, and then we'll have 1 point left, and we'll be wasting that point. So what we can do is actually get free searches in. So we'll take our scout, instead of going all the way through, we'll just come in on 1 tile, leave a 2 tile gap in between us, and then hit the search button. That way we get a free search in, and next turn, we still get to get the goodie hut on the exact same turn. That way, we've got a free search, and we know exactly where we need to go for next turn. This has been our 8 tips for Civilization 7. If you think that we missed any obvious ones, then we've done our job. If you've got any feedback, negative or positive, then make sure you chuck it down in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, then please feel free to leave a like. And of course, if you're looking forward to more Civ 7 content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because there is always time for one more turn.